Easy, Dale Gatefold 33 back with another video. This is going to be a finds video. Yeah, all sorts of stuff. Well, books, CDs and records. I'll start with books. So yeah, into January. It's January the, what is it today? January the 28th. And lots of people are joining gyms and going on exercise regimes and recovering from Christmas. And a good way to get some exercise I've found is to buy some weighty tomes that you get a good workout trying to negotiate them when you're reading them. So I've got 3 books here to show that I've bought in the last few months. I'll show them in order of weight. So coming in at 1.5 kilograms, so the smallest of them, and this is not particularly music related, though for me it absolutely is, because this is the official story of the Wicker Man, and the Wicker Man, I got into the music of the Wicker Man and the kind of story behind the music before I saw the film. And I'm sure I saw the film, you know, many years ago, but I know I've watched it recently twice. I've got it on DVD and I've watched it a couple of times in the last month or so to refresh my memory, having got the book. So yeah, so this book is quite lavish, well done. It's got you know, it's got stills, it's got interviews with some of the stars who are available. It's got, you know, behind the scenes pictures, and obviously most importantly for me, it's got a chapter on the music of the Wicker Man. So yeah, a nice book that for me to work through and work out with. Next, stepping up, the exercise plan coming in at 2.8 kilograms. This is a book that came out in November. I picked it up for my birthday, and this is Island Records, Book of Records 1959 to 1968. So Island is probably my favourite record label. I've done a video on the label way back when I first started doing videos, and yeah, so found out about this through watching Word in Your Ear, the videos, and they interviewed Neil Story, and he talked about it, and you know, I've been umming and ahhing about whether to get it, and watching that interview convinced me, yeah, I want to get these, because this is first in what's planned to be a series of 4 books like this. So, you know, 4 big tomes. So this is red and white because of the the initial Island label and the period that this covers. And this book and the next book are pretty much, you know, they are, if you like, record porn, music porn. So what they typically do is they cover pretty much every release in some way. This is the typical way that they cover it. So there's a photo rather than an image. There's an actual photograph of one of the records. There are some quotes or interviews with people related to the record, some sort of stuff related to the period, you know. So this, obviously the one I've just done here, Millie Small. So Millie Small period was a important time for Island Records, you know, struggling early period. That gave them a boost in revenue with Millie Small's obviously my boy lollipop. Here's my boy lollipop. Going you know, pretty much viral, whatever that was, the term for viral was in the days. And then we get through to, you know, latter. So it covers, see, the early stuff covers the ska and the Sue label and the sort of soul R&B, through to the latter period, you know, later 60s, when you get your likes of Traffic, and then the emergence of Jethro Tull and the like. So it's quite an extensive period on Traffic. And an interesting, which I got from the interview, I probably would have glossed over this reading the book. So towards the end of the 60s or whatever, they did a lot of these bawdy albums with you know, rugby songs and stuff like that. And Neil Story was saying that they were the biggest income generators, and they kept the label afloat. If it wasn't for those if you like, comedy records and the like, they would have probably gone under. Yeah, so the likes of bawdy British ballads and rugby songs volume 2, yeah, apparently they generated more income than the likes of Traffic and Jethro Tull and Fairport Convention towards the end. So this is a really good book. Obviously I've only scratched the surface of it. I need to work my way through it before the next one comes out. I'm not sure when it comes out. There's a still of it in here. Oh god, blimey, I can't find it. You can never find something when you're looking for it. I thought it was right at the back. So the next volume is going to be bigger than this and only covering 69 to 70, so 2 years, because, you know, those years Island Records exploded with, you know, more of the same, with Fairport Convention, Traffic, but then Free and other artists coming along. So looking forward to that. And then the third book, which only arrived this week and coming in at 3.4 kilograms, is more record porn. And this is Labyrinth, British Jazz on Record, 1960 to 1975. And this is a Richard Morton Jack book. So he of the, you know, the Psych tomes. So sort of, and this follows a format of this is again a photo of an original of an album. This is the first one in the book, 1960s Tubby's Groove. So you get the front and back of the record, the labels, and then some words which are reviews from music press, music magazines and newspapers of the time, and then a paragraph by Richard Morton Jack on each record to say, tell you something about the artist or the record or the label. And so you get that all the way through, and then occasionally there are these slightly shorter sections where they'll cover 8 perhaps lesser records but still important to mention, whereas maybe some of the renowned jazz artists did some rather dodgier sort of budget or you know, easy listening or comedy or whatever, just maybe to get some money to allow them to continue to do what they were doing. And it goes through, you know, you get some jazz fusion, there's a lovely Marmalade label, through to you know, my Sunday morning workout here, you know, you get the idea. I'm not going to show you it all. So yeah, that fantastic. Drooling as I'm flicking through that. I'm not sure I'll be able to get the records that are within it. I've got a few, mainly reissues. So that's the books. Now onto some CDs. one of my favourite pickups from last year, with my nostalgia fest, was this Laurie Johnson's The Professionals. There's about 50 odd tracks on this, so some very short passages from episodes of The Professionals, as well as the main themes are on there as well. And yeah, I kind of bought this off of eBay, and kind of didn't do my research well enough, because actually what this is disc 1 of a 3-disc set. So I bought it as a CD, but actually it's 3 CDs and a slipcase is the actual set, and this is volume 2. There's another one that's got the Avengers, but the other 2 CDs that I'm missing aren't Professionals related, they're just Laurie Johnson related. So I'm debating now, do I try and get both 3 CD sets, because I kind of want the Avengers soundtracks as well, or music as well. So I'm debating that, but that's really good, really, again, nostalgic, takes me back to the Professionals TV. I do have them on DVD, I've got the whole lot on DVD. And continuous soundtrack theme, I had a hankering, or sort of saw something on Henry Mancini box, and it looked really nice. I mean, this came out a while ago. I bought this used, came out in 2014, but I saw a review on it, and so this is the classic soundtrack collection, Henry Mancini. I bought this used. It cost me £30 plus shipping, and it's I think it's pretty good value, because it's in pretty much mint condition, and comes with a book that gives a short introduction, and then details each release with the tracks and the bonus track. So, and the format is, which I've now got it out of order. Format is, you get one CD has 2 albums on it, plus each album has some bonus tracks, which is nice. So you get Breakfast and Tiffany's, Charade, you get the gist. So again, working my way through that. I've got so much music to work my way through. So the only thing here that's not a pickup in the last 2 or 3 months is something I picked up maybe 3 or 4 months ago, when it came out. Again, I'd seen this was coming out and pre-ordered it. So I'm not a massive fan of jazz vocals, but one of the artists I do like, who I've shown some records by, is Blossom Dearie, US jazz vocalist. And this box set, following quite a familiar kind of format for box sets. Oh, I've got the review in the back there. This is I think it's a 6 CD box covering Blossom Dearie's Fontana years. So it's got these albums, 4 albums, and the reason I wanted to get it is because I've got this album and this. I haven't got this, and this one is very expensive. I wanted to buy this, and this regularly goes for over £100. So for now I'll have it on CD. So it comes with the album plus each of those albums plus additional tracks, outtakes. But then it's got 2 CDs of unreleased material in the studio and live. So again, load of stuff to work through. 27 previously unheard tracks. So it covers 66, 70, which is pretty much all I want. There's one album she did, Blossom Dearie Sings, I think it's called, on the Daisy label, I think it's on, that just after this, that I'm also after. But again, that also goes for quite big money. So so a good career for me, key career period. And then, as well as buying that Wicker Man book over Christmas, my other Christmas present to myself was this. So the Kirsty MacColl CD box, 8 CD box, covering most of her material. and yeah, bought this kind of not. This is almost like a bit of an exploration, a discovery for me, because I'm not that familiar with Kirsty MacColl's music. I had the album Kite at the time on CD when it came out, pretty much. I think when it came out, I got that, and I really enjoyed that. And obviously, I remember seeing her doing. You know, there's a guy down the chip shop swears he's Elvis, or works down the chip shop swears he's Elvis. On Top of the Pops at the time, so you know, I kind of knew of her right when she emerged, but never really followed her career beyond that early stuff, apart from Kite, and then, you know, nothing else. So kind of know that I probably like Kirsty MacColl, but this was an opportunity for me to discover more. Okay, that's the excuse me, that's the CDs and books. So we'll now do some records for those of you who waited patiently. Show some records now. So I mentioned on my tag video, vinyl tag, that I went between Christmas and New Year. We had a few days in Devon and went to Rich Mix Records in Brixham. Nice record shop with a nice owner, and yeah, I had to dig through there whilst my wife had a wander around Brixham, and picked up 4 things only. So I showed this on my this one on my vinyl tag video. This was the last record I pulled out of the box, and my last purchase in 2023, Gang of Four's second album. So what else did I get? So that's what I got was perhaps a bit of an error by me. Not a disaster, but a bit of an error. So I got the Isaac Hayes Movement, original UK, on Stax. This was not the missing Isaac Hayes record that I was after. I think To Be Continued is what I was looking for. I forgot, so I bought this. Not a disaster, apart from, you know, reason I'm not particularly after this. I Stand Accused, the opening track, 11.5 minutes. Doesn't really get me going at all. Actually, I don't really like that. So that's like more than a quarter of the album that I'm not that interested in. So the rest of it's pretty good. Yeah, kind of don't need to listen to 11.5 minutes if I Stand Accused. Yeah, not quite the album I thought it was. However, I did pick up 2 long time want list albums that never see in the wild. So really happy about that. One of them, so I'm trying now when I'm picking up used records to get more for like my forever copy, and not kind of get something that I know I'm going to have to upgrade, unless it's at a car boot sale or a charity shop where it's dirt cheap and doesn't matter and I can just get the music. And these are not quite forever copies, so that's the only slight downside. This one might be. So this is War. The World is a Ghetto. Been after this for years. This is a UK press original, in nice condition. It's got a tiny bit of ring wear and tiny bit of, it's got a mark on side too, but the mark doesn't play. We tested it in the shop, and it's got a little bit of crackle, but you know, it's 50 years old plus, so it will have. But yeah, fantastic album. So really happy to pick that up. And then another one, so I've been looking for years, not seen, is the Au Pairs and Playing with a Different Sex. So this is a little bit of a rough cover, VG probably, and the album has got sort of a rash on it. I'm not going to be able to do that. But again, we tested it in the shop. It plays okay. It's probably VG, not quite VG plus, but you know, this music's pretty, you know, it's not delicate light music, so it's fine. And actually, the production on this is massive. This is a massive sounding album. So yeah, but it comes with the original inner sleeve and the little transfer as well, so don't find that very often. So yeah, this is, you know, could be a forever, but probably I would, if I see a better copy, I will buy it. And it wasn't expensive, you know, it was about half what a median price, because again of the condition, so it was a fair price. So there's the 4 records I got from Rich Mix Records. Enjoyed that. Definitely go back if I'm in the area again. And then a couple of records that have come recently. So I should say we're now on the, as I said, 28th of January, and I've not bought a record in January that I have received in January. I have received a few records in January that I pre-ordered last year, and I have ordered a record in January that's going to come out later in the year, but I've not actually bought any records in January, technically, so that's pretty good, on the 28th of January. However, a record that arrived, this was end of last year, so those of you who watch my videos know I'm a big fan of the Bob Stanley and Bob Stanley and others compilations, and so continuing his series with Ace Records, towards the end of, I'm sure it was the end of last year, he brought out this, which is Incident at a Free Festival. So what this is again music around the turn of the decade, late 60s, early 70s. He's done 3 of these now. He did English Weather, Occasional Rain, and I think this certainly, I would see this as the 3rd in that series, but this kind of focuses on a bit more hard and heavy rock of that time. And I'll read the hype there. You're at a festival in Berkshire in 1972. It's 3 in the afternoon. The headliner is still hours away. Your flares have 4 inches of rising damp from the wet grass, but Stray, Stack Waddy and Andweller are keeping you on your feet. When you look back years later, you will realise these were the bands you enjoyed the most, as well as the beer. So this is about some of these lesser festivals in the sort of middle of England, not your Isle of Wight and Glastonbury, and the sort of some of the lesser bands. Say it's got what's already been mentioned, you know, Stack Waddy and Weller, as well as Deep Purple, Atomic Rooster, Stray, Hawkwind, Jonesy, Leaf Hound, Paladin, May Blitz, Curved Air, those sorts of things. So yeah, good addition. And then just this week, in fact Friday, came out another Bob Stanley comp, this time with who's he with? Jason Wood. And this is a second. He did one called Cafe Excel a couple of years ago. That was sort of music, sort of synth music related to Berlin, sort of loosely on the sort of influence of David Bowie's Berlin period, or even influencing David Bowie's Berlin period, hence Fantastic Voyage is the name of this. So this is a second, not quite as strong, I don't think, as the first Cafe XL, but I've only played it once. So so this Fantastic Voyage takes its name from a track on David Bowie's Lodger album. Here we find music from the borderlands of the 70s and 80s from artists that Bowie was influenced by, Robert Fripp, Scott Walker, and also from newer acts that he had influenced, who in turn would inspire him. The records come from Germany, Japan, France, the US, and post-punk UK, all linked by their kinship with the Lodger and Scary Monsters. So that's kind of what it's supposed to evoke, and it's got those artists on it, you know. So it starts off with an instrumental theme for Great Cities by Simple Minds, but it's got Cabaret Voltaire, Ryuichi Sakamoto, Patrick Cowley, The Associates, Peter Gabriel, Thomas Lear, Darrell Hall, Robert Fripp, as it says, Basil Kirchin, Holger Sukai. So yeah, really good, really good. As I think Cafe XO, I need to go back and listen to Cafe XO. I haven't listened to it for a while. But yeah, 25 minutes, ramble through some stuff that I fancied showing. Loads of other stuff I haven't shown yet, but I might show it, I might not. Okay, cheers VC, thanks, bye.